What's going on, guys? Razor here. So I just want to talk to you about one of my favorite classes. As a lot of you guys might know, I love D2R. I love the hardcore grind, and you know, I have 99 my fair share of characters. So today I want to be able to go over the class that really struck me as one of my favorites, and that's the Poison Nova Necro build. I absolutely love this class. I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm going to go through my build here on RayzorBanks. You see that one there? So RayzorBanks, that's from Season 9. That was a number 1 Necro finish on Hardcore Season 9. I think we can still pull it up if we just take a look real quick. Ladder. 9, and we go down to Necromancer. There we go. Okay, so one of the things that I thought was super interesting about the Poison Nova build was, usually when I'm running, you're rushing to 99, right? You're grinding it out. You're trying to push for all the top 3 terror zones, and there was this one theme that kept happening. Is I realized when I was 180 that running Act 1 terror zones were actually better suited for being able to grind more efficiently on a Poison Nova Necro. The thing about the Poison Nova Necro that really got to me was it doesn't have a lot of meat to it, right? So obviously I didn't stat up at the end. You can pump a lot into vitality, and it can be very difficult, and it's really important to be able to really pump in your block rate. Maxing out your block rate is huge. Don't sleep on maxing out, you know, your chance to block. It's very crucial. Putting in all your vitality points, enough strength just to basically put on an Enigma. So what you're basically aiming for is, you know, a Death's Web, 5/5 facet. So at this one right here, I couldn't get a 2 open socket, but I was able to get a 1 open socket. You don't need a 2 open socket. One interesting thing I'm going to point out is, you know, a lot of guys, they'll show their builds on Poison Nova Necros, and they'll constantly show you the most absolute maxed out Poison Nova Necro that you can get, which is always a standard league build, because the botting is even more insane on standard league than it is on hardcore. So I opted out for an rune. I found that there was a lot of difficulties keeping your resistance balanced, so I opted out to getting the rune, but I also have a Hodo and an homunculus on swap. Now, why do I have a Hodo and a homunculus on swap? So the reason why I have that is, as you can tell, look at my resist. So basically what I'm doing is using this to move around. So as I'm teleporting around, I'm obviously using this, right? Because then I have the max resist, everything's good. And when I start DPSing characters, what I want to do is use a Death's Web, so I can get the minus poison resistance and the additional poison damage from the facet, right? So the swap is good. As you can tell, it's only a +1 to poison and bone skills. You don't need perfect stuff, man. You don't. Like, keep this in mind. I'm using Trang's gloves. Look at this random ring, an Arachnid's Mesh, a Carrion Wing, Water Walkers, Enigma. This is important too for your fast cast rate breakpoint. Make sure you have an amulet that has some fast cast rate on it. That's the only way you're going to be able to achieve your next breakpoint. That's necessary. It's really necessary. So try to make sure you have that. I guess you could get rid of the Carrion's Wing and put another one on. Sometimes I'll put a Stone of Jordan on. But I believe what happened was I took the Stone of Jordan off of this guy, and then I moved it over to another Nova source that I was running that season that I finished up, but you could probably go with the Stone of Jordan instead of the carry-on wing. The reason why I put the carry-on wing on is, as you can tell, I have a lot of poison resistance issues, and I felt that was the best solution to try to balance out my poison resistance issues. If you look down here, obviously a Sunder, poison Sunder. Now look at my charms, guys. That's nice. That's random, plain, all plain. You don't need all these lifer plus skill charms. A lot of guys will tell you, like, they'll show you the most maxed out scenario. Mind you, like, I'm showing you a genuine representation of my Necromancer that I pushed to #1 Necromancer on hardcore, okay? On hardcore with this gear. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I hope this gives people some perspective on what they really need to succeed. Mind you, if you don't have BO or a BOer, you're gonna want all lifers on your plus skillers, your grand charms, for sure. 110%, that's what you're gonna want. So let's just go over this real quick. As you can tell, enough strength to basically get the Enigma on, and that usually takes care of the rest. Max block, rest into vitality. Let's go over this. Everything gets 1 point on your summoning tree. Everything gets 1 point. Poison Nova maxed out, and it's 2 synergies. What else do you max out? Corpse Explosion, because everybody knows no matter what Necromancer you play, it's basically a Corpse Explosion Necromancer. Whether you set up the Corpse Explosion by killing things with your summons first, whether you set it up by killing things with Poison Nova, all you're basically doing is setting it up so you can Corpse Explode. And ultimately what you're trying to do is quite simple. Lower resist, poison, and explode corpses. But when there's high density corpses, obviously learn to use your amp. So if you got lower resist, poison, amp, explode. Lower resist, poison, first corpse, amp, explode. That's basically what you're trying to do. And then one is an Iron Golem with an insight. A trick for that is make sure you don't put Iron Golem on any of your hotkeys, so you don't want to accidentally cast a new Iron Golem on top of the pre-existing one. It can be frustrating trying to keep your Iron Golems alive and keeping enough insights around so that you can keep recasting it. You don't want to run into issues where you're going to have to accidentally cast over. So keep your Iron Golem off your hotkeys. So that's basically the process, guys. It's a fantastic build. It's probably one of the funnest builds I've played, and hopefully this video was informative enough for you guys to be able to get an idea of what it is you need, what you really need to pull off Poison Nova Necro, and to be able to pull it off with some class and finesse, because this is as good as it gets, boys. You know what I mean? This is it. And the gear is not 10 out of 10 gear, right? So if you got the grit, you got the determination, you got the grind in you, you can pull this shit off too, right? Easy peasy. RayzorBanks signing off. If you like this type of content, don't forget to follow. I'll be throwing up a bunch of other build videos on my characters. I got a ton of other 99s to go through, but hopefully this was informative. Take care. Razor signing off.